What is going on, YouTube? Crypto for Change here. My name is David. With me, I have Nick, who is the CEO of Smilecoin, and he is just going to be with us today talking about Smilecoin, what they are, and really their roadmap, future looking as building on Algorand, and also, a little bit about their history, where they've been, and things they're looking to do. So, Nick, thank you so much for coming on the channel today, just to talk Smilecoin and what you guys got going on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's start off, obviously, for those who maybe don't know what Smilecoin is. I know you guys were one of the original products to actually launch on Algorand. I was actually, covering you guys early on my channel a little bit. So I know some of my viewers may know, but some of the new ones may not know. So go ahead and tell a little bit about who you are, kind of how you got into the whole Web3 space and creating Smilecoin.
Thanks for having me. And thanks for covering us from the early days. You're right. We've been at this for almost a year now, and it was a lot to build and to build securely. Many of us on the team have a background in gaming, and as you know, platforms like DraftKings, FanDuel, all these other sort of micro daily fantasy platforms have really proliferated in the last couple of years. And a common problem that we saw and that we have also faced personally and professionally is the underbanking of perfectly legal operations through platforms like Stripe, PayPal, Braintree, etc. These platforms have a very long list of legal businesses that they simply will not bank or process. And it really is frustrating to me as an entrepreneur and business person. And it's very unfair that they have the unilateral power to say who can and cannot start a business in this country, because without payment processing, you don't have a business. So, it was really born out of necessity, right? A Web3 payment gateway that allows companies to receive revenue and pay users out. That's where we started from. And then, we sort of just kind of, the whole play and earn and rewards layer kind of just naturally came out of that, right? So the advent of the blockchain, many of the advents are well known: security, low transaction fees, speed. The block time on Algorand was a huge reason that we went with Algorand, among other reasons. So it started off as the payment gateway to serve underserved businesses in the fast-growing gaming, prediction, daily fantasy space. But then the fact that all of these transactions are on the blockchain and can be parsed allows us to tie in rewards and incentives based on transaction volume, history, etc. So it's very natural to tack on a rewards layer, because of the public nature of these transactions.
And so, someone, looking from my perspective, when I first heard about Smilecoin, I've dipped my toes in things like FanDuel and DraftKings. Obviously, I'm a big fan of fantasy sports, so fantasy football and things like that. I normally play that at least once a year when the NFL season comes around. And so I get, there is this, kind of friction there with being, especially if you're in certain states in the US and obviously even on a global scale, of being able to get into some of these. But where does the utility, I guess, of the token, the Smilecoin token itself come into play when you're, comparing yourselves to things like DraftKings, and stuff like that? Like, what's the underlying value there that you see that the Smilecoin is going to be able to tap into?
That's a great question. So, with your DraftKings and FanDuels of the world, they have the deep pockets, right, to forge direct relationships with credit card acquirers, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, checking accounts, major banks, etc. So for them, the Smilecoin SDK is really a, it's driven by the rewards layer, right? So these businesses, they're not hurting for payment processing. Now they're still paying fees to these companies. I'm assuming, more than average, given that they have access to something that a smaller company doesn't even have access to. So, our transaction fees are 0.25% each way. So they can save on transaction fees, but also, just being in the Smilecoin network, right? The players have a universal token, so to speak. So you're just doing a transaction from wallet to wallet. There's no bank processing. There's no Swift credit card network. So it really cuts down on the middleman, which leads to faster execution times, better user experience, etc. But in addition to that, they get the stickiness that comes from the rewards layer that is automatically tied to the payment processing. So as a user or a player, when you pay with Smile, you're automatically enrolled into the rewards layer. So we have things like our 2-hour leaderboard. So every 2 hours, the top 10 Smilecoin transaction volume wallets split a 2,500 or 10% of 2-hour volume amongst the top placements on the leaderboard. There's also streak bonuses. So when you hit when you play for 7 days in a row, you'll get 5,000 Smile. And for 14 days, you'll get 5,000. And then when you get to 28 days, you'll get 10,000. And then 10,000 every week thereafter. You can stake your Smile on the Smilecoin DAPP. And if you have over a 21-day streak, you get access to 125% APY staking. So from the perspective of the player or the user, right, it's preferable because you get all these extra perks that come with playing. From the perspective of the platform, that user is incentivized to play more because of the rewards from paying through Smile. And what we do with the transaction fees is that's not revenue for us, that's not profit. All that goes back into rewarding those players. And so the more transactions, the higher the transaction volume on the network, the more rewards go back to the high volume players. And so, just because somebody already has a payment processing solution, that's really just a small corner of the entire offering of the Smilecoin SDK.
Right. Yeah. And it seems like it'd be a very rewarding system. Obviously, if you're someone who is, participating in this network, especially as it grows. One question I guess I would have next then, you talked about the low fees and how that could be attractive to someone, some of these bigger entities that maybe use different payment processings and things like that to be able to use Smilecoin instead as their layer and then a rewards layer. What happens as, say Smilecoin scales? Does those fees start to scale with it? Or, how does that work? Longevity, say you were to start landing some of those, partnerships with some of these bigger names out there for Smilecoin to be used as the base layer. How does that work?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's something that we're still thinking through. Right now, we want to make it as attractive as possible for folks to onboard their platforms to the network. And, like I said, the fees that we collect they're not part of the revenue plan for the company, right? So we're not going to cloak and dagger this and, raise the fees on somebody because we're trying to juice our revenue, right? But, when when we do build up to onboarding somebody like, say, DraftKings, there'll probably be different tiers. After 10 million Smile and transaction volume per month, you'll go from one tier to another tier. We're still taking this step by step in terms of the transaction fees and rates, etc. But our core ethos is that, or the main takeaway is that this is not part of our business model, right? The transaction fees are meant to be rewards that go back to the community. So there's never going to be any big surprises or major changes, or, oh, you got in at 0.25% and then we're going to raise it to 2.5%, because that's not good for the community. It's not good for players. Ultimately, those costs will be passed on to the end consumer. And we're really, we've built this to serve everybody, right? We are fighting for the underdogs here, and we are player and user centric. And so, if it's not good for the end user or the end business, we're not going to do it.
And so, obviously I know that those are some big goals that you guys have as far as, where Smilecoin could be incorporated into the future. Talk a little bit about where Smilecoin's integrated right now. Like if someone's holding Smilecoin in their wallet, or if they're looking at possibly, using Smilecoin, where could they go right now to use it and really, get the best bang for their buck, as far as earning those rewards and things like that?
Yeah. So the production SDK is fully integrated and live on Grin Gaming, our first partner platform. And we have 4 other platforms that we are in various stages of integration with. So by the end of Q2 2022, we are looking to have 3 to 5 fully productionized integrations. And in that way, the Smilecoin network and the associated DAPP really kind of serve as like the Apple App Store for gaming companies, right? It's a one-stop shop and a single currency that can be used across a myriad of different diverse fun games. So think football, NFL, daily fantasy, or in Grin Gaming's case, micro prediction games, or working with a company right now where they do digital boxing, right? So it's really, we like to say it's a currency that funds fun. And as we get more integrations live, it's really like a casino, sort of. Like you can sit down and play craps or poker or slot machines, but you're using the sort of same currency across all of those, and it's very easy. So, we really look forward to increasing the exposure of these platforms we partner with, because as we add more platforms, it gives users more outlets to spend Smile and earn Smile, and then that gives those platforms more exposure. So it's really about lifting up, everybody with whom we partner, and getting those platforms the lowest transaction cost possible, and paying users the most they can get. And we really take our play to earn ethos very seriously. I think if you ask any of the folks playing Grin Gaming today with Smile, they'll tell you firsthand that their rewards are real. We're not talking, pennies every couple days. We're talking 10-15% bonuses per day on top of their winnings.
Even more players have kind of come into this play to earn area, really trying to, build the best business for it, and for the model of being able to, someone like me, I'm a gamer. I love the idea of playing games, but, up until, all my history of gaming, I've never been paid or rewarded for the amount of hours I've spent playing League of Legends, or, FIFA or any of those games. And so the whole ethos and the whole, movement behind this play to earn is really exciting. But with that, kind of downfall and kind of with your all's launch, there was some bumps in the road, kind of stuck your head in the ground. You got back to work, really building out, what this product that you're bringing. And then, articles started surfacing, Smilecoin, the PayPal killer. And I've seen other things, other articles kind of tout that. What does that mean though?
Yeah, so I mean, we are builders at the end of the day. We're not looking for cheap wins. We're not looking to be expert marketers or hype builders. We are looking to build long-term value. And you're right, there was a sort of a lull between the announcement of the project and then the actual production release of it. To us, that was natural, part of the evolution or growth of or metamorphosis from a caterpillar to a butterfly. But in the crypto space, people are far more used to pomp and circumstance and FOMO and heavy marketing, and that's just not who we are. And we didn't let any of that chatter get to us. Because we know what we're building and we had confidence in it the whole time. We know it's a massive market and we know that we're building a real value. And so we released our roadmap. We've hit all the milestones on that roadmap. And anybody who was really studying that and tracking our progress would have seen that this was all baked into the development process. And we're super proud with what we've come out with on the other side. It is really revolutionary, and I don't say that lightly. I've been in technology for over 10 years, working on highly complex problems around machine learning, high frequency trading, and blockchain. So I know what we're capable of, and I know how to solve very complex problems using cutting edge technologies, and it don't happen overnight. I'm super proud of the team for getting to this point where we do have something that is in production that is extremely revolutionary and novel, and that is really supercharging businesses. People who use Smile on Grin Gaming are extremely sticky. We're talking almost 70% 30-day retention rates. So the play and earn mechanisms are working even better than I had anticipated, frankly. And we're extremely excited to proliferate those to other businesses, especially young and less resource-rich businesses, to give them a leg up.
Why did you guys choose to build, your project on Algorand, and how has it been so far, building on Algorand and working with the team and things like that?
Well, the experience has been amazing. The Algorand developer advocates and the ecosystem itself of builders and developers is very helpful and passionate and dedicated. And so, the experience, to answer your questions in reverse, has been amazing, and it keeps on getting better. Why did we choose Algorand? Algorand is really the most academic blockchain out there, and I'm an academic myself, and it's not flashy necessarily, but like Algorand, we are looking to build for the long term and solve real structural problems in DeFi, rather than looking to partner with a hot VC-backed layer one protocol with a less solid blockchain, a less performant blockchain. I'm extremely impressed with how the Algorand's L1 protocol has scaled with volume. Silvio Micali is an amazing individual, extremely erudite, smart man. I've met him a couple of times. and he just exudes intelligence and patience, which I think is a very key part of building something truly profound. Is you have to have patience. We really resonated with the the core mission and the approach to problem solving that Algorand and Silvio have undertaken. And again, I think that they're focusing on very large issues and structural solutions, or rather solutions to structural problems. And when you're tackling structural problems, these things take months, quarters, years to fully realize a solution. And that's the same approach I have to problem solving. And we are looking to really serve an underserved and growing part of the US digital economy and global digital economy. And you can't do that overnight. And you need, you need patience and perseverance. And I found those two qualities within Algorand.
We kind of talked a little bit about, the start of your US project. And then obviously the big news that kind of came out, a little bit ago was, your all's SDK and the, the ability that you could implement that. I want to say, if I read the article correctly, it was like 10 lines of code or something like that. So kind of explain a little bit, because that's also what brought, a little bit of, revigoration back into, the Smilecoin push as far as price action goes, but also just in as far as, buzz and you guys kind of being at the top list of some, product hunt, I think was one of them. So kind of tell us a little bit about what does that actually mean, for someone who's not technical, someone who might just read that article and obviously see it's good news, but like, what does that really mean for Smilecoin and for, your all's integration into these other bigger platforms?
Yeah, so I would encourage everybody to check out the docs for themselves at docs.smilecoin.us. What the 10 lines of code really means is, you can implement the PayPal checkout button in about 10 lines of code, or Stripe or Braintree, right? It's how the current TradFi solutions work. And I think in order to be competitive, for a DeFi protocol to be competitive with a TradFi solution, it has to be as easy to use, if not easier. And so, we've done all of the complex hard work on the blockchain and otherwise, and we've put that, in a black box, so to speak. And so as a developer, all you need to do is integrate the SDK and render the checkout with Smilecoin button, and you got an integrated product, right? So there's no custom code you have to write. You instantiate the SDK and you do smilecoin.receive and you send the signed transaction, boom, you just got paid as a platform. Or smilecoin.send, boom, you just paid out a user. So the 10 lines is, for some folks, it will be less than 10 lines of code, like 4 or 5. For others, if they want some other different features, maybe a little bit more than 10. But it's meant to indicate that it is a very low lift on the engineering side, which is exactly how, as I mentioned, PayPal, Stripe, etc. work. They abstract or obfuscate all of these sort of complexity and put that in the SDK. And all you have to do is, do a couple of calls and you wait for the response. Is it good or did it not work? And and you've got a fully integrated payment solution.
Where do you see now that, right now we're in a bear market, obviously, finally confirmed? No, the market has just been, tanking as of late. And so a lot of people are scared, just being in crypto and a lot of the projects that are building, they want to know, I guess what to look forward to and things like that. And I've heard a lot of people often say that, the best projects are built during the bear markets, right? That's when everybody gets their hands dirty. You really start to see, the cream rise to the top per se. Future, couple years down the road, what are your aspirations for Smilecoin?
Well, yeah, I do agree that the hard work gets done in bear markets. They say everyone's a genius in bull markets, right? When everything's going up, you could just ride the wave and no one looks under the hood, and you can FOMO and market and pump, and that'll give you a short-term sugar high on your price action, I guess, if that's what your goal is. But in a bear market, you can't hide. You either put up or shut up. And we don't care about bull market, bear market. Obviously, a bull market will lift all ships. But the way the SDK works is the SDK executes spot purchases against the exchanges that Smilecoin is traded on. So Mexi, Bitmart, in 7 days will be an MRX. So the Smilecoin protocol is built on spot purchasing, right? So when a platform wants to pay a company or a user out, the SDK does a spot purchase for the amount that needs to be sent to that user, right? And then swaps the USDT for Smile, sends it to the user, right? So my point in saying that is that as adoption of the SDK grows, the transaction volume across the markets will go up, right? Because companies have to fund, when you're paying a user out, you fund that Smile payout by purchasing Smile from the market effectively and then sending it. So, in that way, as long as the network is growing and transactions are flowing through the SDK, there's always going to be bids that are coming through, right? And so we're not, the price today, and increasingly so as we add more network partners, is not based on speculation, right? There's a real protocol that does real market operations to fund real transactions. So as you play more on Smilecoin, you're actually funding more spot purchases through the market, putting more bids into the market, and thus driving the price up. So, in that way, we are immune in some ways to bear bull market dynamics, because transaction volume means more spot purchases. Looking beyond gaming, so as I mentioned, that the PayPal, Stripe, they all have these exhaustive lists of businesses that are federally legal, state level legal, but for whom they will not process payments. I'm talking adult entertainment, cannabis, CBD, etc. These are companies that and industries that for no good reason, aside from perhaps the cannabis industry, which there are sort of it's not federally legal, it's only state level legal, and you can't access the federal banking system as a result. But things like CBD, or adult entertainment, pornography, firearms, although we probably won't touch firearms. But there's a whole host of other industries in the US that are suffering from the same blackout that these TradFi payment processors impose on the gaming industry. So we are excited to start branching out into other industries like the ones I just mentioned and more, Obviously, we're not going to work with anybody doing anything illegal or immoral. We have our own set of standards, internally. But if you're a business that's operating above board, but Stripe and PayPal won't work with you, come talk to us. We'll get you paid.
All right. Well, thanks, Nick, for coming on my channel to talk everything Smilecoin. I'm super excited about your all's future just on Algorand and as you guys continue to build. And I'll be there following along in your all's Discord. I know you can see updates there. Make sure to go follow these guys on Twitter. And like I said, if you want to go check it out for yourself and really see firsthand what Smilecoin's all about, I would recommend to go and try it out on their app, their DAPP, and also on Grin Gaming. I'll link both of those in the description below. But Nick, thanks for coming on the channel. And until next time, best of luck to you as you continue building.
Yeah, thank you so much. And much love, Algo fam. We love you.